Hello everybody, Kathy Arbor here, and happy Christmas Eve. Today, I'm not sure how many will be on the live, but it is a live stream. And for you that are at home celebrating this holiday season, I wish you the very best that you can have. And it's a time to reflect and see how lucky we really are. Make sure to phone somebody, maybe your mom or your dad, brothers and sisters, and stay safe. Let's bring 2021 with a positive note. So today we're going to be doing a winter scene, and I have had a lot of requests for this. Last week we had done this one here, and I like how it turned out. It's a little bit too light down here, so I think I might have to either lighten the snow around here a little bit so the chin shows up a bit more. But all in all, I think it turned out pretty good. So today I was going to show you how I do a background, so you can put this type of thing on it. And this is just a file folder. Oh, this was this month's Blooming Artist mixed media piece that we did. And if you want to find out more about that, you can click the little join button down below the screen, and that will send you to a page that tells you all of the information needed for joining our membership. And hopefully you'll be inspired enough and you will join our fantastic group. This is what we've done so far in December. We've done all of these online on the Thursday stream, so there are actual links for these traceables that you can download, and I believe a reference also, and then you can paint along with me. This is actually up tomorrow, and it's the Mary LTA's fourth Saturday hop video. So it's not tomorrow, it's on Saturday, on the 27th. And that was also one of the members' classes that we did. Hi everyone. Hi Kathy, Barb. Hi Janet, Devin. Good to see you all. Hope you're all having a lovely Christmas Eve day. Here we're getting ready for a snowstorm. It's like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer here. We're supposed to get a lot of snow and some snow squalls, so nobody will be traveling. Not that many of us will be, but we're all hunkered down here. At least we have food. And I'm just gonna art for the rest of the week, I think. Oh, you're finishing the marshmallow guy? Awesome, Janet. I'll love to see it when it's done. Yeah, so went to get some mail and I had a flat tire to start the day. That was fun. But little town, you know, everybody helps each other, so that was great. Only took me an hour to have somebody come and fix it for me, so that was good. Clear skies where you are. Wow. Now we're gonna get this very windy, and it's getting colder by the minute. So I thought today we'll try and do the landscape part of this. And it won't be exactly like this. This was just made up. And this is the nice thing about the landscapes. You can just make them up. Because I'll just give you the basics on what a pine tree or spruce or whatever needled tree you're doing. And then we'll do some other trees, deciduous trees. Minus 35 is cold for you. When does yours start, Cass? We have snow for tomorrow. Oh, it's starting now. It's starting to snow now. We had rain this morning and it's been getting colder and colder, so we're getting snow now. We're supposed to have it this afternoon into Boxing Day. So, but then, things change like by the hour as far as the weather is concerned. So who knows? I'm ready though. I'm not going anywhere, and everybody's staying home around here because we're on lockdown. On the 26th, no one's allowed. Stores are all shut again. We are at +4 Celsius, right? Oh, wow, that is warm for you, Devin. Chinook winds coming in. So I'm happy to be in my art space, just taking my time and creating, and got the fireplace going, and I'll put some music on and I'll be happy. So I don't know if Eileen's here, but she wanted me to show some books that I had of Edith Holden, was it? So I do have a few. Where are you, Barb? Hey, Jersey. Good to see you. Oh, awesome. Oh, that's so much fun. Cookies and gingerman. I love that. You get the kids to decorate. Yeah, you just make the best of what you have and enjoy the things you've got, is the way I look at it. No point in giving your joy to negativity. I'd rather be positive and look at the good things in life. There you are, Eileen. About time. I do have those books you wanted to see. Yeah, back. Good to see you. Wait, Barb's in Winnipeg. Ah. Or are you? No. Barb, where are you? I missed it. Hey, Gigi. You want to see the books. Okay. So, it was the Edith Holden. I've got 2 or 3 and some other stuff. These were published 1984. She did these in 1906 is when she wrote this. And it's all watercolor, strictly watercolor, no pen. So it's a little bit of a different look, but I still like it. I think it's beautiful. And this one was the diary. Nobody wrote in it. I got this secondhand. Nobody wrote in it, which is nice. So you just, beautiful little pictures. Yeah, her art is wonderful. And it's always nice to have these books because you can see how they do the little borders too. It looks so nice. So you get one main page for the month, and then you can get little borders around your, and what's the, I think it's, let's see, I think she just talks about that month what they would be doing as far as gardening type of thing. Yeah, it's all about the soil and seed preparation and planting for the season in the house or in their greenhouse. It was very, very simple, but very elegant looking, I think. You know me, that's cute. I love anything to do with gardening and watercolor or art. October. I like how she did too the writing on of the month. That's pretty. July. The water lilies and dragonflies. June. So that was that one. Then I had this. This is just postcards. So there's 30 postcards of flowers, birds. I got this secondhand too. So it's kind of the same thing that was in that book. A few different ones, but it's nice to have the postcards. I like her style. It's very simple. So, yeah. So it's a mix of birds and flowers in this one. So it was the Country Diary postcard collection. Some of us watched a stream about copyright, and her family renews the copyright or her art every year. Oh, wow. Yeah, you'd have to be sure to do that every year. That's for sure. And then this one is a diary. This one was from 1983. Those are a few different. This person only did one entry. This was a used one too, so I guess she didn't get into diary keeping. So basically the same thing as the other book, but you don't have the words in it or anything. But it's a beautiful book. Look at that, the blues and the greens. Janet, I'll have to download a New Year's Eve. So you can't sell her art. Well, yeah. Oh, you mean you can't sell this in like a junk journal if you were taking pages out of this and putting it in your junk journal? Is that what you're talking about? Or actually drawing it and then selling it? Oh, so they don't want you even using book material. Interesting. Yeah, well, that's basically, well, there's such a gray area in that. Like, my brother has patents and stuff, and he said he said to me, if you morally, yes, you shouldn't be using other people's inventions or art or whatever it is and passing it off as yours. He said, but if you are getting inspired by that person and you like their style and you're incorporating that into your work, then that can't be copyrighted. And he was saying that he's had lots of people copy his inventions, and he's had to take them to court. But he says, if you're going to copyright your material, make sure you know that in the future, if you're to go after somebody that has copied your material, is it worth the amount of money that it would take to take them to court? Because for him, it cost him to take one person to court $200,000. So when I was asking about copyright, if you make something, and he himself said it is not worth it. He says, if you can't afford to take that person to court, then there's no point in getting a copyright. And it costs money for a copyright on top of that. So it's, for artists, it basically, if you're not like this famous person, it basically comes down to your morals. Honor each other's creations. You know what? For me personally, this is not for anyone else, but for me personally, if you want to copy my stuff, go right ahead. That's a compliment to me. And if they're going to sell it and I find out, all I can do is, if you want to aggrieve it, you can just call them or write them and say, hey, I would appreciate it being even just recognized that it was my art. But yay, Val. Go right ahead. For me personally, it doesn't bother me if people want it. That's a compliment for me. So, but I know there's lots of people that, you know, so that's just my view on it. I think artists can get a little overboard on copyright, to tell you the truth. I really do think that. But again, that's just me. So, I just thought I'd show you this too, Eileen, while I was looking for these books. I have this one that's beautiful too. Um, Garth and Vicky Wyatt, Waite. They have a really nice book too. And this is UK. And this has the written stuff, which I love. I love the look of the written. Let's see what's, give a date. First published in 1985. So these aren't old, I don't think. But this is a really pretty book too. So it's about the island, and you can get different ones for different parts of the UK, and I think there's Scotland and Wales, but I love the look of this, and this gives me inspiration for my own diary type of thing. So how you can place your writing, a certain way of placing your letters, what have you. It gives it the composition of a page. It helps you with that. This is very similar to the other one, Edith, I find. Not as much pen work. Mostly, there is a little bit of pen work, but mostly just watercolor. But it is pretty too. So if you like this type of, I like looking at these types of books because it gives me ideas on how to do a composition of writing and drawings and paintings on a diary page, because that also has a certain effect. It's like when you're doing a painting, you have to have composition and so many different things for it to be appealing to look at. So there's color composition, there's weight, there's hue, form. There's so many things that you can get into to make the page look proper. Like even this is cute. Tadpole to frog. That's cute. I love their writing too. Beautiful writing. This is quite a big book too. There's drawings and paintings in it. I love this look where only parts of it are painted. I really like that look. There's the hawk. See, there's again the birds and the stem not painted, and the house isn't painted, but this is. That looks so cool. Yeah, the format, isn't it pretty? And like I said, they've got a whole series of different ones of this. They have a tropical one, and You probably like that one, Eileen. It has palm trees and different birds and flora. They won for By the Sea also. They're hard to find though. I got these on, well, what's that one book place that you can get? The Book Depository is where I got these from. There's that one. And let's see, what else have I got here? Oh, there's one. There's that one too. Edith Holmes. And this one has actual poetry in it. So I think I'm going to probably start doing more of this type of work. Drawing. So I can start off with my orchids and house plants that I have. I'm not going to do poetry, but I'd like to start drawing again, doing botanical. So you'll probably be seeing some videos of this. I think I'll probably put them up on Tuesdays, Watercolor Tuesday or something. Yeah, so that's a nice book. What else have I got? Oh, there's another one. Nature Notes. Oh, this is another, oh no, I showed that one already. Then, of course, there's, this one is so cute. I just like her watercolor. This is Let's Be Happy book. I think this is just cute. Are flowers copyrighted? So you can't sell dried flowers. Nope. Anything in nature. Nature cannot be copyrighted. Well, I shouldn't say that because there's plants that you can't reproduce. You can't sell the seed, but I don't think there's anything against selling the dead plant. Yeah, this is so cute. I like the little sayings too. She's got a bunch of books. I just like her work. It's so cute. Yeah, isn't it cute? So that's a cute little book to have. Then you've seen these. I think I showed these. These are the Marjorie book. Bestine. I love her stuff. This is a diary. Yeah, so that's it of that. Hi, Sherry. Good to see you. Good to see everybody. Oh, no problem. I always like to do a little enabling. Here are some birthday presents or Christmas presents you can buy yourself. Be nice to yourself. You deserve it. All right. So I thought I would do a scene. That was one of the tryouts I did. Just playing with stencils, paint, some marker. Yeah, just seeing what I could design I could do. So what I'm going to do a portrait style, and I want to put a coat of matte medium on this, just so that the paint doesn't soak into the paper, because it's easier to move the paint when there's gesso. Let's see, take my gesso brush, and I'm just gonna make up a scene so there's no mistakes. You can do whatever you want. I'll show you the differences, that the only things that you have to, well, you don't have to, but it would be a good idea to keep in mind as far as distance and foregrounds, backgrounds, how they should look. Color changes the further you get back, the lighter it will be, not the darker, not darker. A lot of people tend to think that it would be darker, but it's not, it's lighter. All right, so I'm going to give this a dry. Never keep anything in mind. Well, then you can just do it abstract. There, simple. You meant to do it abstract. I'm not going to get real technical. This is just a beginner way of doing a scenic background. And then we'll throw in a couple trees in the midground. So you can put whatever you want in this. This is the first thing you would do, is do your background first. So it'll be your sky, your horizon, and any distant trees or mountains or whatever you're going to put in. Yes, I know you love your abstracts. I do too. I love certain types of abstracts, I should say that. I'm not into the real throw a bunch of paint on and there you go, it's done. I'm not into that type of abstract. But I think that's why a lot of beginners do go into abstract first when it comes to painting is because there's really no, when you're first starting out in abstract, there's no mistakes because you're learning. And it's intuitive. So sometimes you just throw a bunch of stuff on and smear it up, and you end up with some really neat effects that wouldn't have happened if you hadn't have experimented. It's fun to experiment. All right, let's see. Now, I think we're going to give it a little bit of a sky type of thing. I'm not going to get into too many colors. I'm going to kind of keep it monochromatic type of thing. So let's go into cobalt blue. We'll need white, of course. So I have just and I'm just using craft paint. You can use whatever you have. And let's see, what other colors? Maybe a little dioxazine purple. And a touch of orange. And orange is the complement of blue. And when you want to tone down your color, say it's too bright, then you use the opposite color to gray it down. And so whatever you're wanting to gray that color down so it's not too bright, use the opposite. All right, so I'm going to just use my big brush, my 1-inch brush, and I'm just going to put a sky in. So I'm going to want it, I want it fairly light in the center where I'm going to put it. So I'm just adding a little bit of blue to that white. I'm going to just dab a little bit of that. See, there's not much, just a bit, and I'll gray that blue down. A little bit more white. And then I'm going to start putting in my sky. And as I go to the edges, I'm going to darken it a little bit. So I'm going to put a little more blue. Maybe a little purple to darken it. And then a little more of the orange again. And then I'm just going to go around the edge of this. So what is everybody having for Christmas dinner this year? I think I'm going to put a little chicken in the oven for myself. And I might make some cookies tonight. I like making shortbread. If your paint starts to get so harder to put on, it gets tacky, just add a little water to your brush and just start bringing it out. I'm going to put a little bit of white in there, just in the center here. A little of that dark color in here. Okay. Must have Christmas cookies. Yes. No, I'm not painting an abstract. I'm just showing you how to do a background for a winter scene. So I'm going to put some distant trees in and a few other trees up front. So basically, where is it? So you can do something like this. So you can have this type of background. This isn't the background I'm doing, but it's similar to what you can do. So in the winter, we have the sky and the snow is very similar in color tones. So we want a little bit more purple in this here. And if it's at night, it's going to be almost the same color as the sky. So I'm going to take a little more of that purple, gray it down, and then I'm going to use that. Now, it'll look very similar to the sky, but that's fine. I have a lot of water in my brush. Right there. Oh, the plate. There. All right. Colleen's year-long file folders are wonderful. Yes, I saw that. They are. You did a fantastic job. I was thinking about that the other night, and I was thinking, that Coptic stitch may not work for you. Because you got some pretty chunky file folders there, Colleen. So I might have to think up of a way of doing a binding for yours to expand, because you don't, it would flare out if I did the Coptic stitch. Hey, Dot. So let's dry this. So you have to make sure it's good and dry before you do the next step. Kathy, why use orange, not gray? When you add gray to a blue, it really changes the color of the blue. It makes it dirty. It gives it a really muddy look. And depending on the different types of paint you're using, to make black, or gray, you end up with other colors in it to make that color. So you don't know what they're using, and a lot of times there could be green in it, there could be all kinds of colors. So you're never sure what shade you're gonna get. There's warm grays and there's cool grays too. So I find, and most artists do this, is we stay away from the grays and we always use the opposite color. So your complementary color to whatever color you're using. It just gives it a more natural look. It's very difficult to use a gray in it. It just doesn't give the same color. I don't know if that's helpful or not. Now, it's nice and dry. So say we're going to have an opening here. Get some brush here. Okay. Okay, so I have a angled brush. Now, for the back, if you're going to have, say you're seeing a bush area across a field, you would probably have different levels of that brush area. So you can either do this with a sponge or a really rough looking bristle brush. I'll do half with the brush and the other half with some sponge. So what you want to do is it'll be a little bit darker than the sky here. So I'm going to take a little bit of this white and add it to this sky color. I'm going to have to make some more. I ran out. And I might need a little bit of purple in there to darken it. Okay, so the trees, they're bushes and all that, so you're not going to see far away limbs of any sort. The only difference you might see is in the whole structure is a pine tree is different than a maple tree or whatever. But so what you want to do is you can draw a line with your brush in the area and then just, that's still too not dark enough. There. And just flick up. Make some taller. And there'll be bush areas, and it may come out a little bit from the horizontal line that you put. And then you can do some over here. Let me use the brush. Sponges. So you can get a sponge. I like using these natural sponges, and I just wet them. And then I'm going to take just a bit on your brush or your sponge, and then you just tap the area. So it kind of like sponge painting. Remember when we did that with our walls? Now this isn't quite dark enough, so I'm going to make some more up. I like this better. I usually use the sponge for the top part of the trees. So I'll show you. I'll do the top part. Bit of yellow. A bit more. Just make some more up. Maybe I'll have some taller ones. You might have some areas that are shorter, or you might have some gaps. see if I can get that sponge going. Then you can take your either a flat or you can use a fan brush too, whatever you have that's got a flat edge to it. And then you can add some taller trees or evergreens. If we were going to add some evergreens, they wouldn't be really wide. If this was a brush area, you just add your stick and then just flick. Don't make them perfect looking, because what in the wild, evergreens don't look perfect. They might have lopsided areas. They could be only have a few on the top. I've seen a lot of them do that. Pines are shaped a little differently. Maybe they've got a double leader on them. We'll put one in here, I guess. Maybe you've got one that's dying off. It's just flicking your brush. Now we can make some bigger trees, like maples or whatever like that. You want to, let's see, I think I dropped that darn script brush and I can't find it. Let's see if I got another one here. I'm going to use this, I guess. Put some trunks in. So, bigger tree trunks. Make the main limbs. You don't have to do a bunch of little limbs yet. Just the main ones that you would see. Might have some broken limbs on it. Might have just some whips, they call them, seedlings that are coming up. Okay. And then you can take your sponge. Now this isn't leaves, it's more the look of a bunch of twigs on the stems. So they're not leaves, so you don't want to do a lot, just a few. Just to give that indication that there's stems. You can put some down there along the edge too if you want. So it's just a bunch of stems. But see how it's very light? It's not dark. Okay? So then you have to really dry that, because now we're going to come front forward. All right, I really have to find a good brush. To do this part. I think I would have a brush. A billion of them, but let's see. I think I must have put some away. I don't know where they are. Oh. There's one. Okay. I like a short script. Now, if we're going to be doing snow, you want to put the snow in now because you don't want to have to work around the snow when you got a bunch of trees in the front. So snow is very easy. You're still using the same colors you have, but you're adding a little bit more white to it. You can use pretty well any brush you want. Could be a round. I'll use this bigger round here. And you want to add a little bit of white to that mix you had. You still want it to be on the blue side. And this is a lighter area where the moon or sun or whatever you're doing. So we're going to have a little bit of, needs a little bit more white. You want it a little bit lighter than what you have already on the ground. So the moon will be shining here, so we'll just add a little bit. In this area. So you can add drifts, or maybe you just want it to be very like a field where there wouldn't be hardly any footprints or drifts or anything going through. It would be fairly smooth. You can do that. You can dry brush in the back area here. Maybe it would be a little bit lighter. I like to push it up, flick it up into the trees. So it looks like it drifted a little bit in that area. I think I want this to be just a few areas that are dark. You don't want a lot of dark in this. The dark areas are going to be where your dips in the snow. So this is kind of mid-toned areas. So as you can see, you don't need a whole lot of paint. It can be fairly watery. That's more, makes it up a bit more here. want this area to be fairly bright. All right. Okay, let's dry that. Yes, it's all about layers when it comes to acrylic painting. Okay, now I'm going to get a little bit lighter again, so I'm going to take some more of this color and more white. So it's still not a white. So in the front here, I'm going to make it the lightest color. The white snow would be the brightest up front, is what you would be noticing. And as you go back, and you can start making little snowdrifts if you want. And I'm just doing the very tops of where I'd see the snowdrift. So this is when you're getting into a little bit of shading with your snowdrift. There's no rules wherever you want to drift, basically, or snow. If you want it flat, then you can paint the whole thing flat in one color. But I like a little bit of a difference in the colors. I think it looks a little more interesting. I'm going to concentrate a little bit more of the lighter colors in the center here, where the opening is. Okay. Okay, now, if you don't plan on putting anything tree-wise in the foreground, what's up front, then you could put your real highlights, the last bit of highlight on certain areas. But because I'm putting trees in, I want to put those in first because there will be different highlights put in because there will be shadows from the trees. There will be maybe drifting towards the tree because snow does that. It leaves a little hollow underneath the tree. So the highlights would be a little bit different. If you want, you can check different references for how snow piles if you want to get the exact look. But now what I'll do is I'll take my liner brush if I want to do Maybe, let's see. No, I think I'll take my fan brush. I'm going to use a little bit of this blue again, and the orange and the purple. And I'm going to start making some trees. Let's see, is that going to be maybe a little more purple? You want it a little darker. So I'm going to put quite a bit of purple in there and a little bit more orange. So it's a nice gray, dark gray. So if we're going to put, let's see, maybe we're going to have a tree coming up here. And it'll be bigger on the bottom. I'm just putting the limbs in. Maybe we'll have one right about, or the trunks here, and another one here. So they're all basically very, very close to one another. They're not far away from each other. Okay, then you can take a script liner and start adding some of your bigger trees or bigger limbs, but not as big as your trunk. And just have them make sure you overlap some of them. So it always looks a little more natural. And you can do this for as long as you want. This can take hours if you really want to put a whole bunch in. So it's up to you how many. It can be kind of like Zentangling, actually, putting these in. You could do it with a Posca paint pen also if you wanted to. So as many as you want. few up here. Some bush area and the trees. Okay, then dry that. Thanks, Devin. Hey, Lori. Okay, so now we could put in a fir tree. So it's using the same paint. Let's make this a little bit darker again. So I'm using my purple and blue with a bit of orange. Might need a little bit more purple. This time I'm adding a little more orange, and when I add the little more orange with that purple and blue, it kind of goes a little bit on the green side, which is good. Let's see if this is going to be dark enough. So I'm going to put a little fir, maybe a couple fir trees. So the easiest way to do a fir tree is just do your center line first. So we'll put a little one here. And then this is just that same ridge brush. You can use a bristle brush if you want something smaller. And I just start from the top and I wisp down. And you get a little bit wider as you go down. Depending on how you want to make them, they could be lopsided, they could be a perfect Christmas tree if you wanted. It's up to you. So we'll make this one a little bit on the lopsided. It's had a rough life. Just make sure some of that center is really filled in this time. You don't want to see through the tree, basically. And I'm going to bring it right down. This one's growing right down to the ground, but the taller ones, you usually see the bottom part of the trunk in the wild. So let's take some more of that, and let's make a bigger one here. So it's going to be actually in front of this one. So I'm taking my tree, and I might have to make up a little bit more. Purple, blue, fairly dark color. And again, just start from the top, work your way, just wisp. Now there's different ways these trees grow. Some of them grow across, so there's not much of a slant on their branches, but it's up to you. You can put a thing across here to give you an idea on how far to bring it. So bring it up to there. And this is just there's no real detail on these because they're going to be covered with snow too. So there's no real wrong way of doing these. So give them a try. And they'll be rounded around the bottom. Okay, that one's a little wonky, but it looks good. I like it. $20.20, yeah. It's had a rough go. Rough time. All right, so now that we have 2 of these, now we can dry these. All right, now the fun part. So if it had been snowing, we will see bits of the white on the tree limbs. You'll see it on the pine trees, but it also has a shadow to it. So what you have to do is take some of that pure white in with that bluish gray color. So you want it a little, almost the same color as this in here. So what we can do is wherever you would think the snow would have fallen in the tree, so maybe in the Ys of the tree, there might have been a little bit of a buildup. You can just spot on some of these. Maybe when it's across, just a little bit on the tops, laying across the stem. It doesn't have to be the whole branch. It can be just little bits and pieces of a branch. Sometimes you'll see frosted branches, depending on if you had a bit of humidity when it froze. You'll see a frost on the little branches, and that can be done with a sponge if you want to do that. Just use the same color as I got on my brush here. But it's all these little things that make the painting. It's the details that make it come alive. This is the part I like. It's the fun part, making it look like something with the highlights and the shadows. And then you could actually even dry brush a bit along the stem or the trunk. Snow would have attached to the rough parts of the trunk. And same with here. You don't have to do it all though, just bits. And then now we can do the pine tree. So we still have that grayish white. It's not a white yet. I'm going to put a little bit more. And now this is the fun part. I like doing these. So if the snow is falling on them, you're going to still see where the branches overlap each other. There's going to be dark areas in between them. So I'm picturing, because all the branches aren't just going left or right, they're also going towards you. So you want to think where those tips would be on your pine tree that you did here. So let's say we'll start at the top here. So maybe we have a few branches and they would be just tipped a little bit on the tops. Not a lot. And there's some 3/4 around also. Don't forget those. There might be an area that doesn't even have any snow on it. Maybe it got blown off by something. Maybe an animal ran up it. Could be shorter bits to the tree too. Down below where the branches are thicker, they might carry more weight of snow on them. So maybe they're bending down further. So there might be less visible of the inside because the snow is drifted up. These are all the things I think about when I'm painting or drawing. I'm thinking about, if I don't have a reference, I kind of make up my own scenario, what happened and why it would be the way it is and that type of thing. It helps me know how to draw what I need to draw. Hey, gal. So that's our first coat. So we'll do this one too in the same color, same way. It's all up to you how much you want to put on. Could have been just a small bit of snow on them. You don't have to do the whole works. It's up to you. There's no snow police aren't going to come out and say, no, that's not the way it was. You missed a spot. Nope. All right, and then we dry it again. Now we can take the white, just get an area that's clean. I like to have a little bit of water. I don't want it too thick. I like it a little bit soupy. And now we're going to put the highlights, the brightest areas of where it would be, the moon would be shining on it or whatever. So, and you don't want to cover all those areas that you just did. You just want to highlight the tops part of those highlights. So like just put a dab on, just doesn't have to be all of them. It could be just a few, just to indicate where that sunshine would be, or moon would be shining on it. So because this, I'm saying that this is the lightest area in the sky, so the sun would, or the moon would be shining this way. So this back of the tree would not probably have as much bright highlight. Same with these trees, depending on where your highlights or your brightest light source is coming from. This is when you can make it look like the snow has shadows. So I'm going to say that the outer edges of this tree is where the highlights would be. So it's not going to have a lot of highlight in the center of this one, just where the outer edges of the tree would be shining the like there's shadow cast from the tree on the snow here, so it's not going to have that bright highlight. I don't know, I probably just completely confused you. I'm rambling now. Just a few. So that'll show that the moon is shining on the other side. that makes any sense. Yeah. Okay, so now also we can start putting some really bright highlights on the snow. So wherever your moon was casting a highlight on the snow, just down here, so we can add some brighter areas where the snow would be the brightest. And this will also show where your dips in the snow would be. If you've got some really dark areas like here and here, just put a little bit of a highlight just above it, because that'll show that it's dipping down. Same with here. Get a little bit brighter in here. I'm just gonna skim my brush around. Dry brush. All right, I'm gonna just take my bigger brush here, take some of that white and just go across here just to brighten it up. I'm not going to go too far into the tree here, but just a bit. Okay, and then dry that. All right, now I think we can put a little bit more around the base of this tree here. So usually trees would have kind of like a little drift around the center of it. I'm going to put a little bit of highlight around here. There. Just here. You just kind of walk it out so it doesn't end with a sharp line. Just take a little bit of water, walk it out. It's fun. You have to play with it a little bit, but once you get used to using acrylics, there's no end. There's so much you can do with it. If you don't like something, you can always paint back over it with the color from before. You just have to play with it to learn what it does. Thanks, Val. And like I said, this is a very simple one. So under this tree here, I think there'd be more shadowed area. So I'm going to take some of that dark color again and add a little bit of white to it. I want to make a bit of a shadow under that tree, but I don't want it too dark that it's the same color as the tree. So let's see if this will work. A little bit more white. Let's see. And just put a little bit of a shadow in under those limbs. This one's not too bad. Now, I think I could probably, well, should I do it or not? If I had a shadow from the moon, it would come out like this. So it would be the shape of the tree. Depending on how high the moon's up. So you get some shadow from it. Even in here, this one here. And this would have a shadow. I'm going to take my brush here and this. Now if we have dips in the snow, we would have, let's see, there. Some shadows. All right. Then we'll dry that and we'll put some snow in. Now with snow, you want to get a fan brush will work, and you want to get some of that white. And you want it fairly soupy. And if you want to do so, it looks like different layers of snow coming down. Wet your canvas or your paper with just water, the whole thing, before you do this. You don't want it sopping wet, so. And then you take your brush and high up, put it high up and flick. And what happens is the snow will kind of bleed in that background a little bit. You can take up ones that you don't like. And then you dry it. So the good thing about this is you get a variance of clear ones and kind of fuzzed out ones. So it gives you a really neat depth in your snowflakes. If you want, you could go over this again with a finer brush and put in some really sharp snowflakes without wetting your page, and that would give you even more dimension. And this just gives it a little bit of a softer look. So, see how soft it looks? How they're kind of blurred out in areas. So if I wanted to, let's see, let's try this one. We could put some of a bit more of that white. This time it's not as soupy. You do need it a bit soupy though, so it'll fling off your brush. But if you don't put water on your background, they won't spread out. So now I can just, oh, not soupy enough. More of that. These are finer because it's a finer brush. But they're a little sharper. So then see, you have sharp ones. See that? And faded ones. So it looks a little more realistic. So that's the beginning of a landscape that you can put anything you want over top of this. So I could put a deer on here. You could have a person walking. Like you could maybe see the head here, the shoulders, and he's walking through. Or you could have a whole person walking through, like from here to here would be the body. Maybe there's a dog in there, a rabbit, whatever you want. But this is the basics of doing a landscape for a painting you're doing. So you can add whatever you want to it. This is kind of a night scene in a way. So if you were doing a daytime scene, you would probably have the sky a little bit lighter. The snow would be a little brighter in the highlight here. But it's fun, and this was just made up, so you can put whatever you want in it. I could put red alder in here if you wanted some color. You could put birds in here. You could make the sky more bright if you wanted to in this circled area. You could have made it more white, so you could put clouds in, whatever. Oh, any questions? Thanks, guys. I hope it was simplified enough for you to do it. Same to you, Dot. Have a fantastic Christmas. And don't worry about all the stuff that's going on. Just enjoy your day and be grateful for what you have. Take back your joy and enjoy your day. So I hope you all have a fantastic Christmas. I hope you do try some of this. This is really fun. There's no mistakes. Get your file folders out or pieces of paper and play. I may even use this as a place to do some writing on here. You could photocopy these and use them in your diaries or your junk journals or whatever you've got going. So enjoy, everybody, and make sure to watch Mary's streams that are coming up. She's got a bunch of hops. I think she's got them going all week. But check those out. I know I'm on one on 27th, I think, or 26th. Saturday. Indeed, Kathy, we certainly will. I am going around to my nieces. We will have family. Oh, that's great. Yeah. Phone each other. You know, don't think that Christmas is destroyed because you can't all get together. You can still talk to each other. You can Zoom. You can get on the internet, whatever. Still enjoy that you have each other. Enjoy the day. So I'll let you guys go and have a fantastic day and Merry Christmas to all. and happy holidays to everyone who celebrates in different ways. We'll see you next week. I'll probably be, when's next week? The 20, what is next Thursday? Is that New Year's Eve? Let's see. Yes, it is New Year's Eve. Yeah. Well, we've got the New Year's Eve streamathon going. I believe it starts with I think it starts in the morning. So Mary's got that going. So not sure if I will stream or not, being that everyone will be following that. I might, or I might just put a video up. For those that were supposed to have their Blooming Artist live stream, that was supposed to be for tomorrow. Obviously, that's not going to happen. Yeah, you can stream it. You can drink at my next stream. But I did make a video, and it will be up tomorrow for you to watch. And it will be, I'll show you what I did. It's a mixed media one, and we did this one. So we're using stencils and pattern paper and ephemera paint. And this is a very easy one for everyone to use. So that's for the Blooming Artist. So if you want to check that out, all the supplies and everything is in the community members page. You can see that. And then the beginning of next month, we'll be doing the binding of all of these, putting them together with some kind of cover. So that'll be fun. So get your stuff ready to put them together, because we're going to have a big fat book. So I'll let you all go, and have a fantastic day, everyone, and Merry Christmas to all. And we'll see you next week, possibly. Bye for now.